This is a retrospective, but not a nostalgic one. It is a look at two parallel experiments, one with technology, one with meaning, and what they turned out to have in common. A life can be read as a sequence of experiments. My phone journey began in curiosity about novelty and moved toward practicality. My spiritual journey moved through occult and mystical frameworks before arriving at Buddhism. Underneath both, the same question remains: what is genuinely useful, and what merely fascinates for a while? Part 1 is the outward journey, the objects. Let's look at how the technological biography unfolded over 24 years. Here is the map of that journey. Notice how the early intervals are short and filled with high excitement, while the later gaps stretch out and the choices become significantly quieter. The Siemens C35 and Motorola C331 were objects from a different world. Buttons, tiny monochrome displays, and visible antennas. From the very start, technology was not just for communication, it was for play. The Sony Ericsson K500i was a genuine leap into multimedia, while the Motorola Razr was a design statement. Back then, a single new phone could feel truly transformational, a sentiment that has changed as the industry has matured. By 2010, the platform question was still wide open. Early touch experiments like the Sony Ericsson W950 eventually led to the compact, illuminated design of the Xperia U in 2012. Nobody knew which interface would win. These devices, the Yoda phone with its dual screens and the Intex Aquafish running Sailfish OS, weren't chosen for being the best. They were experiments in discovering what a phone could actually be. That curiosity is the through line. In 2018, I started an Apple experiment to understand its ecosystem. While I used other phones for flexibility, the ironic result of this experiment is that the original iPhone 7 still works today, a simple, accidental demonstration of longevity. Today, my focus has shifted to sufficiency. The Samsung F14 doesn't need to be revolutionary, it just needs to work. Technology has transformed from an object of fascination into mere infrastructure, useful, ordinary, and sufficient. Now we turn that same restless, exploratory energy inward to examine the frameworks we use to understand experience. Just as with devices, my search for meaning moved through different phases: occult sciences, Sufi mysticism, and finally, Buddhism. This was not a collection of concepts, but a search for a method of inquiry. It is vital to respect the differences between these traditions. They rest on distinct metaphysical grounds. My journey does not require proving that they all teach the same thing. Instead, I view them as a biography of my own exploration. Anicca, all conditioned things are impermanent. This concept is the lens through which we can now see everything else discussed today. Seeing impermanence isn't about pessimism. It's about ending the demand that transient things provide permanent satisfaction. By observing the drawer of obsolete phones, we see this principle in action. It is a relief to let go of the need for things to be other than they are. We often ask, what is the next technology, philosophy, or experience? From a Buddhist perspective, the urge to keep searching can itself become an object of observation. Curiosity doesn't have to disappear, but it can become less compulsive and more conscious. Both the technology and meaning journeys arrive at the same discovery. Novelty alone does not provide lasting satisfaction. The mature position is not rejection, but rather knowing what truly deserves our attention. A working philosophy comes down to a few simple restraints. Use technology without defining your identity by it. Explore ideas without demanding they become permanent beliefs, and choose paths based on meaning rather than mere novelty. Where this stands now is clear. A practical phone is enough, the experimental phases are now historical chapters, and Buddhism provides the framework for understanding impermanence. Nothing was renounced. It was simply seen clearly enough to set down. It was never about the phones. Whether it was a Siemens, a Razr, or an iPhone, each was just a passing experience. What remains is our capacity to observe, learn, choose, and ultimately let go. This too shall pass away.